Hey everyone, it's Rob, Mr. Robot Shop. I want to make a video today about uh, cryptocurrencies, gold and silver, and fiat currency. So let's talk about the thing that everybody knows about or thinks they do. That's the dollar or fiat currency. So uh, we when we go to work and collect money from things we do, we get paid in dollars, and we have all thought it's money for a long time, right? And especially anybody that was probably born in the 70s and on later or after that, because before that there was actually gold and silver coinage, right? And the dollar was backed by gold at some point back in the 70s. Nixon took us off the gold standard, and I believe what you want, but I think he moved us over to the petrodollar, they call it, which means that we would help protect the Middle Eastern countries as long as they use the dollar and trade for their oil. So, but what a lot of people don't know is that the dollar is not, it's actually a debt note. So what happens is the Federal Reserve Bank, which is a privately owned corporation, it says Federal Reserve, but it's not a federal government agency. It's a front to a corporation. So they actually loan the U.S. Treasury dollars, and we have to pay interest on those dollars. So you actually have a debt note in your wallet. So if you have a dollar bill, it's not really worth a dollar. The U.S. government, or the U.S. corporation, right, has to actually pay interest on that dollar. So it's kind of a false illusion, right? We don't really have real money anymore. It's just debt notes. Like if I if I were to take a land contract out on a home, right, I could actually take that land contract agreement and sell it to somebody else, and that's essentially kind of what's been going on with the dollar. So anyways, right now I'm looking at the U.S. debt clock on the internet, and right now we're just under $20 trillion. Debt per taxpayer just on that alone is $165,000. So obviously that's never going to get paid back. I mean, I just don't see a world that would ever happen. So my spidey sense again tells me that the U.S. corporation or government is they know that the dollar is going to end at some point. All fiat currencies have throughout the world existence, right? That's a fact, right? So I think what they do know that it's going to crash, and I think they are just buying and spending and just screwing the system as much as they can until the very last day, till the Titanic sinks, right? And the 20 trillion doesn't include unfunded liabilities like Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. Doesn't include student loan debt, credit card debt, all that other stuff. So if I look here, mortgage debt, the average person per citizen debt is $56,000. So if you take, we're talking two different things. So that's per citizen, and then you have per taxpayer. But let's say, I don't know. You do the math, right? We all owe a lot of money. I signed up for my credit card debt or my car payment, but I sure as heck didn't really sign up for $20 trillion in debt that gets squandered on, we've heard the stories about, $5,000 seats on the space shuttle, or share seats, right? Toilet seats on the space shuttle or whatever. I don't know. That was years ago. But the thing is, the crony capitalism, they've essentially, taken advantage of all these holes in the bucket, right? And they're sucking out all this fake money so they can buy real assets. So when everything collapses, they're going to come out ahead, and you're going to have nothing. Okay, that's essentially what it's going to be. So what's that mean? The bottom line is, I believe that unless I don't know, they can twist things and do all sorts of different things for a long period of time, but at some point, something's going to happen. I'm just checking to see if there's customers coming in here. I do not trust the 401k system. I do not trust any retirement account system. I think that they're herding the sheep in, and I think at some point that those dollars, if you will, are going to get transferred to the big players through all these high-speed trading computers, and I believe that they create bubbles on purpose so they can pop them, so we lose, virtually everything. So I think that's what's going to happen. After the '08 thing, I took all my retirement accounts, I bit the bullet, I paid the taxes on it. I'm like, you know what, if the money's going to go away one day, potentially like it did, if I had sold it during, '08, '09, at least if I do something with my money and I screw it up, well, then that's my own issue. But I'm sure as heck not going to give my money for some fund manager to, invest in some stupid fund that's overvalued anyways, that has no value, and, end up getting screwed out of my money that way, because, I've worked hard for my money throughout the years, and I'm just, like I said, if I make a bad decision, that's my own fault, right? So let's move on to cryptocurrencies. Well, actually, let's do gold and silver. I think gold and silver is, if you have no debt, I think the first thing you should do is pull all your money out of the markets. And I'm no investment person, so don't, use your own knowledge and your own judgment. But if you want to do what I did, I'd recommend just pulling as much money out of the system as you can. That means banks, for retirement accounts, everything that's tied into a thing. I think that's why George Bush wanted to privatize the retirement accounts, the Social Security system, because if you could do that, if you could shift all the Social Security money over to the private sector, and there was a collapse, well, guess what? The government wouldn't be on the hook, would they? Who would people blame? The government? No. It was the stock market that failed, right? So, anyways, that didn't happen. But so gold and silver. If you don't have debt, I recommend number one, paying everything you have off, your house, car, everything you can first, if you can. If you have extra money, I recommend gold and silver. I'm heavy on silver. I think the out of ground ratio is usually, I think, 12 to 1 normally, 12 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. And right now it's right around, I think, 70 to 1 or something crazy. And silver is used industrially. We are seeing a slowdown in the mining of copper and zinc and all the other metals, which means that silver is not going to come out of the ground as quickly as it has been in the past, because it's usually a secondary metal. It's not a primary in most cases. So logic tells me that silver is the way to go. I may be wrong, right? You may be tossing money at just a bunch of metal, but right now it's June 8th, 2017. The spot price is right around, I'm just going to ballpark at $18 an ounce. Could it go down? Absolutely. But the thing is, it can only go down so low, right? So even if the dollar were to completely collapse, the thing is, silver, it's so close to the cost of production that even if it goes down to cost of production, on the back end of a collapse, it's still the cost of production, right? So the new currency, if you will, will. So basically, what I'm saying is you're going to be able to transfer your bulk of wealth, if you will, that you put into silver from your currency, the old system, and it's going to kind of float over to the new system without really losing much, if you will. If you keep dollars and the system collapses, well, there goes your dollars, and you may get 10 cents on the dollar on the new system, but you basically want to move your bulk of assets from straight over. I don't know that silver is going to make this skyrocketing appearance, or I don't know if gold will. Very well could if they choose to use a gold and silver standard again to back the currency, if or when this happens. But just to be on the safe side, I think at a minimum you're going to at least preserve your purchasing power, right? So, but again though, pay off your debt, get out of the system. I like silver. I have a little bit of gold, but silver to me seems like the better deal. And the nice thing about silver is, if you want to buy an ounce of gold, you got to come up with $1,200 to $1,300 depending on the day, right? If you want to buy an ounce of silver, $18 to $22 is what you got to pay. So it's much easier for most people, the average person, to get into silver as opposed to gold, unless you buy, fractional ounces of gold. But then the spot price goes up exponentially because you're buying smaller chunks, and it costs more to produce the little things, and there's more of a premium on those. So I really think silver is a good deal. I do want to speak about cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, right now there's just a rash of cryptocurrencies coming out. I do not believe in cryptocurrencies at all. I think from an electronic point of view, I understand it. However, I've heard that a guy from X22 Report had a lady on, and she was saying that with Bitcoin, for example, if you make a payment on Bitcoin to, let's say, a retailer, for example, and you're the person that made that payment, well, from what she said, there's a little loophole in the system that if you take that exact same Bitcoin, you can, like, immediately, you have to do it quick, but before it clears the system, if you make another payment to somebody else, right, a friend, for example, if you're trying to scam the system, well, the first payment actually gets rejected and the second one doesn't. I can't remember what she called it, but my concern would be, the scams out there are just potentially unbelievable. It's unregulated, and I don't love regulation, right? I'm kind of anti-regulation, but it's so new and so unregulated that it's, you could say it's here's what I equate cryptocurrencies to, right? I used to play a game, Smurf Village, on the iPad, and now I play Simpsons Tapped Out, okay? When you want to buy a house or something on Simpsons Tapped Out, they have things that you can work for, right? Or they have these little donuts that you can buy for dollars, right? I literally see in my brain cryptocurrencies being like Smurf berries or donuts on Simpsons Tapped Out. That's exactly how I see it. Is there any value in the donuts in Simpsons Tapped Out? Well, for me, there may be. I've only spent $25 in the 5 years I've been playing the game, but for me, I spent a little bit because I just was tired of screwing around with taking forever. But there's value in it to me, and there's value in it to other people that play the game. But there's not any value in it to somebody that doesn't play Simpsons Tapped Out, right? So if you're not in the game, then there's no value. So it's like anything else in life. If you don't play the game, it's a thing for somebody, but it's not. It's like gambling, right? I don't gamble, but people do gamble, and some people do make money, but for the most part, most people lose money, right? So, do I think cryptocurrencies? I mean, we essentially have kind of a cryptocurrency with the fiat currencies we have right now, right? It's traded electronically. But I will say this, at least it may fail at some point, but at least the governments actually technically stand behind the dollar, right? I mean, they will say, you know what I'm saying? They can stand behind it militarily with the people. There's nothing standing behind these cryptocurrencies, folks. And I may be totally wrong. I may have lost, the big boat, the big money maker in my life. And I'm pretty sure, I know a lot of people, I'm sure, have made plenty of money, and they may continue to make money. And I may be totally wrong about this. But at the end of the day, here's my thought about cryptocurrencies. If there was only one cryptocurrency in the world, Bitcoin, let's just say, right? I might almost understand that would be okay. But ever since then, there has been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other cryptocurrencies. So given that you can make a cryptocurrency out of thin air, then which one is the right one to go with, right? It's just like printing dollars right into infinity, right? Hyperinflation. So you can have a billion cryptocurrencies, so that makes, or a trillion, or a quadrillion, or it's unlimited, right? I mean, it's literally, cryptocurrencies are unlimited. They can be made unlimited. You can have an unlimited amount of cryptocurrencies. So that makes them worthless in itself. My idea about how cryptocurrencies should actually function is that you should have your own cryptocurrency, okay? My name's Rob. I have a Rob 8269BX cryptocurrency, okay? That is my cryptocurrency. So through my lifetime, from the time I'm born to the time I die, if I want to work, right? Let's call it the Rob cryptocurrency, but I have a long number or a key or whatever. But let's say I work, in a fast food restaurant. Well, the fast food restaurant, they have their own cryptocurrency, and they pay me in their own cryptocurrencies, which credits my account, right? And then if I want to go buy something, I use my Rob cryptocurrency to. So actually, I can build up currencies and I can spend currencies, but it's all based on my production in life, right? That's how I really think cryptocurrency should work, because then it's limited to the number of people that are on the planet, right? And the harder that you work, the more cryptocurrencies that you can get from somebody else. Like, it's just a credit system. So, again, if I work, I get a credit, right? And if I want to buy something, I spend my credit, right? It's just credit. There's no banks have to be involved or anything like that. I believe that's how cryptocurrency should work. Is we each have our own unique ID. One could argue, well, if I'm a doctor, should I get as much, or if I'm a, what do you call it, where you go to the places and you take a shit in the porta potties, right? Should a porta potty person get as many cryptocurrencies for per hour than a doctor? Probably not, right? So the doctor can charge more cryptocurrencies, right? So that means that, you get what I'm saying though? I mean, we can still have a system where there's tiered society, because obviously a doctor went to school and spent a lot more time and effort to make it so he's going to make more cryptocurrency so he can buy more stuff, right? But he's not relying on the government and these central bankers and all this other stuff to print the money and devalue it and screw with it the way they want to. We deal with it with ourselves internally, right? It's kind of like there was a place, a website I used to donate to, Kiva, and it was no bank. It was just, there was these people over in other countries and they wanted some money. They couldn't get loans or if they could, it was like 1,000% interest. So Kiva you would put money in and they would loan it to these people, usually small business owners, and generally speaking, you get paid back. Now the drawback is you never got any extra out of it. You were lucky to get your money back, so it was a break even. So you felt kind of good that you were helping, but it wasn't really an investment thing. It was just more of a pat yourself on the back kind of thing. But there was no bank involved, right? It was just a pass-through. Maybe Kiva made a little bit of interest, who knows? But I guess what I'm getting at, that's the thing. Actually, now that I think about the little credit thing, I was just thinking about a movie. I don't remember the name of it, but the movie on the people's arms had like a credit, and I think you started out with a certain amount of credits on your arm. It was like this display, like LCD display, and you spent money that was on your arm, right? If you work, so actually it's the same principle. If you just go look up movie with credits on arm, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. With it was kind of a creepy movie, but it is what it is. So anyways, that's about all I had. The phone's ringing. I'm gonna grab this. It's a survey number, so actually I'm just gonna let it go. But on the cryptocurrencies, I would stay out of them. Like I said, if you have some money to risk, gamble, go ahead and do it. But the thing is, gold and silver are real tangible assets. It took real energy and real work to mine it, dig up the earth, process it, make a coin or a bar or whatever. So to me, I really think that the precious metals is the way to go to transfer wealth from one system to another. So hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions or anything, like I said, all this stuff, do your own homework. I may be absolutely wrong. The gold and silver I have may be worth nothing one day. I totally accept that fact. But between the three, gold and silver, cryptocurrencies, and the dollar, to me, gold and silver are tangible. They're real. Don't do the ETF thing. Hold it yourself. Get a nice big safe at home. Put your money in that. But again, it's very possible that gold and silver won't be worth anything. That's and I'm not saying that like a lot of times people say, well, you can't eat gold and silver. Well, that's bullshit, because the thing is, you can take gold and silver and buy other things, right? It could, if the dollar totally fails, right, it just is worth. You wipe your butt with it, right? With the dollar. If it totally fails, what's going to be the next potential currency trading thing, right? Well, yeah, you could say food and bullets and guns, blah blah blah, but gold and silver, right? I mean, you can take that because it's still a precious metal, right? And you can take that and sell it to somebody that wants it, right? And then you can buy your food. So I hate when people say, "Oh, you can't eat gold and silver." Well, of course you can't eat it, but you can spend it or trade it for food, right? It doesn't mean that it's worthless. It's actually worth a lot more than the toilet paper dollars, So, but I'd say cryptocurrencies would be more worthless because it's like, okay, well, I have a lot of food and you've got cryptocurrencies. I don't want your cryptocurrencies because, what am I going to do with a computer screen that's a number? It's like, what's the point? But, a true coin that's got tangible, assets or properties to it that you can do something with, right? You can trade it. You can do something with it. You can't do that with toilet paper, and you can't do that with online digits. So, think about that for a minute and see what you think. But anyways, like I said, do your own homework, make your own decisions about everything. These are just some ideas I wanted to kind of throw out there and discuss. So anyways, appreciate you watching. You guys have a good one. Take care.